URC run number 8, folks. Munster hosting Leinster. Leinster get the win. 9 points to 3. No tries. Low scoring game. Absolutely awful weather. It was so bizarre sitting here and watching it in New Zealand. We finally got a sunny day after having a lot of rain over the Christmas period. And seeing people freezing their behinds off, getting absolutely drenched. The conditions were awful, hence the scoreline. But we'll go through some key events and stats. It was a proper ding-dong battle. Some bloody good defensive shifts. And the guys chucked it round despite the conditions. Honestly, I enjoyed the game. But as I said, it's with the conditions, maybe one for the purists. But Munster conceded a penalty at the breakdown early, which was literally, I think, from the start of the game. Was it the first carry? Yeah, Leinster just win a penalty straight away, so 3-0. There's a quarter of your points within the first kind of minute. Both sides kicked the ball dead when they've got chances to put boot to ball. Kind of speaks to how tough it was for the players to kind of get a read on the game and just how slick the ball was moving. Barron goes off for Munster, which was a bit concerning as well because they had this guy Owen Clark, who I don't know if I don't think I knew his name. I was like, Clark? Who's Clark? I don't think he's played a lot for Munster. Was it like 1 or 2 games? Yeah, very, very green in terms of experience levels. But he did all right, man, up against Leinster in a game like this. That was unfortunate for Munster to lose a key player so early on. Both sides gave away penalties at scrum time. A lot of focus on Ollie Jaeger at tight head and loose head later on, which was a first for me. But, a lot of pressure on him. And they were literally... I think there were 4 scrums where it was Leinster got a penalty, Munster got a penalty, Leinster got a penalty, Munster got a penalty. It was just that much of a ding-dong battle. Jaeger up against Porter was a pretty fascinating one. I thought Jaeger did all right, man. It's a pretty big Leinster scrum. But, certainly neither side was able to totally dominate that area. But one area where Porter did dominate was the breakdown. He managed to catch an isolated Munster runner on about the quarter of an hour mark, got his side a penalty. So, if you're going to get isolated in your own half, you're going to get turned over. 6 points to 0, Leinster. That's a decent lead, man. You don't know it at the time, but that's half of the points in this game within 15 minutes. Jack Crowley coaches Italy, really used to. Jack Crowley got annoyed with a touch finder. He really let the officials have it because he thought he'd chewed off a few more metres with his kick, and he was really trying to give his forwards as many metres as he could with his kicks. At one point later, he missed his touch. But, he wasn't rewarded with the metres he thought he should have been. Gave Munster a little bit of field position, though, in the first half, which was kind of hard to come by. Casey ended up having a snipe a few phases later down the blind side, but into touch. So maybe Munster's best attacking chance of the first half, to be honest. And then they lost another front row when Kilcoyne went off 2. Leinster on 23 minutes was maybe their best try-scoring chance of the first half when they actually showed some pretty slick hands down the left wing, but Simon Zebo rolled back the clock with a bit of a try-saving tackle and a wee grin to show that he'd got the Leinster guy's number. So great counter tackle from him. And, Casey got himself into hot water with a tip tackle on Lama after there was a kind of line-out move from Leinster. What the heck's the halfback doing a tip tackle for? It's like seeing a halfback do a high tackle. It's just bizarre. But Craig Casey managed to get himself yellow-carded for a tip tackle. There's one of the things on my list of things I never thought I would have seen, but there you go. That is added to the list. So, Munster down to 14 men for pretty much the remainder of the first half because there's about 10 minutes to go. The best chance during the yellow card period really comes from a maul where Leinster look like they're going to truck it up, but Munster managed to kind of get some bodies behind it, stop it, and win themselves a maul turnover. So good play because we've seen Munster have a few frailties there in, was it the Glasgow game? So, that was bloody good defence. So 6-0. Half time. Like Frawley is quite happy to kick it into touch once the clock goes into the red. So 6-0. Munster's had more ball, 58%, but they've been living in their own half. They've only had 31% territory. Run meters is as close as it can get, 143 to 144. Clean breaks is 1 zip to Leinster, so very tough to get themselves into space. Munster have won 5 turnovers to 2, which is, keeping it, I guess, in the game in terms of being able to survive when they are camped down their own half. Both sides have missed a couple of lineouts as well, which is not unsurprising. Is that how that works? Double negatives? It's to be expected given the conditions. English is hard. And yeah, especially when you got this guy Clark throwing in for Munster. I mean, talk about jumping in the deep end. Second half, Munster's first chance for points when Leinster get pinged for not releasing, and it's a missed kick from Jack, not Kieran Crowley. And then more injuries when a Dogbo goes off injured with a leg injury. He has to go off on the little golf buggy thingy, the cart, the stretcher. Yeah, so Munster have lost multiple guys in this game. Fingers crossed none of these injuries are too kind of long-term ones. Then you get a scrum penalty going Munster's way. First and only points of the game. That's on 51 minutes, so 6 points to 3. 3-point game. Nobody's really able to get on top. You get Lochman with a decent wee... They don't credit him with a line break, but it's like a line break. Then Conan strips Nankerville in a tackle. Then Porter gets pinged for sealing off at the breakdown. And then Crowley misses touch with the resulting penalty. And then Porter wins a penalty at the breakdown to make up for the one he just gave away. Like, nobody's getting on top. It's just arm wrestle stuff. Leinster go through a load of phases on 57 minutes. I thought, if they can make this a 2-score game, they're going to win. But Ahern is able to win a penalty at the breakdown to kind of get his side out of dodge. Leinster's turn to miss a penalty when they hit the post on 59 minutes. And then another one on 63 minutes. So 6 points gone a begging for the Leinster guys. And they managed to disrupt Munster's probably best chance of the second half when they had a line out down Leinster's end. One of the few times they were able to go down that end. They disrupted it. So I think it was Ryan Baird. Good play to stop the Munster attack before it really started. Leinster bring on a couple of fresh props on like 75 minutes, which is a pretty bold call. Good on the starting guys, Alatoa and Porter, to be able to go as long as they did. And then the resulting scrum penalty meant they could go for the corner. They had a bunch of phases in the Munster 22. Lochman gets himself yellow carded for being offside. Ref gave him a couple of warnings, but didn't heed them, so he's gone. Jaeger comes on, has to play loosehead prop. I've seen him in Super Rugby for a number of years. Never saw him play loosehead, but he played loosehead. They get pinged at the scrum, and there is a penalty for Leinster. So 9 points to 3. She is a pretty tight game. And the fact that, 20,000 fans got up there in that weather? Yeah, something we need to see more of down my part of the world, to be honest. I mean, I guess you just don't miss Leinster Munster, It's such a big occasion. Possession finishes 52-48 to Leinster, so that's actually pretty even. But territory, 65-35. Munster did a little bit better in the second half in terms of the territory numbers, but overall still camped down their own end. Leinster had more run meters, 281 to 218. Clean breaks finishes 1 zip, so none in the second half. Defenders beaten 17 each. Munster's 9 turnovers, 1 to 7 is still only marginally kind of in front. There's not much between the sides. Tackles, Munster made 122 at 88%. Leinster made 95 at 85%. So more a day of the defences. When you look at the penalties conceded, though, both sides conceded 11, but Munster 9 of them in their own half, whereas Leinster 5 in their own half. So yeah, that's sort of what happens when you get camped in your own territory, plus the 2 yellow cards. Lama beat 6 defenders. Zebo beat 3. Coombs made 14 tackles. Kelleher made 13. Ahern, 3 turnovers, 1. Bit of a ding-dong battle, that one, in some pretty tough conditions. We've got Munster Connacht in their next game. Hopefully not as wet up in Galway for that fixture. And then Leinster will host Ulster. Likewise, hopefully Dublin by that stage. This was played in at Thornton Park. But hopefully both those games are played in slightly better conditions, like the conditions we got here today in New Zealand. It's lovely weather for a change after a pretty miserable 25th and 26th. But anyway, you guys let us know your thoughts on the game. Take care of yourselves. And I actually walked around in this jumper jumper, jersey, not too long ago in China. If you want to see that, that'll be up there. You guys take care. See you again.